And the objectives are to understand the concept and nature of motivational speaking, persuade audience members to emotionally commit to action. Once again, title of the speech is Don't Perspire. It's 7 to 9 minutes long. Please welcome Cathy.
I needed a roundabout this morning coming into the building. I was thinking of many too many things and wasn't paying attention. I was on the passenger side of my door grabbing all the things I need to bring in, and I wasn't paying attention. The next thing I knew, I was running outside right past the edge of my car as John Concannon was not in a roundabout, and he came into the parking area very quickly. Now this was Walker error, I must say, because I was not paying attention. But luckily I stopped immediately past my car, and we stared at each other in just a gruesome kind of realization that I could have been a dead president. Do you think they'd get him for assassination?
Absolutely.
One of the things that I really proposed for this club is for everyone to become a DTM. I was talking to Julio, and he's like, DTM is nothing. All I did was, check off those boxes. And I really thought about that, and it really bothered me because I thought, well, it's something that I want to aspire to. I want to become a DTM. And then I thought about Julio and his disregard for that momentous thing. And I thought about it, and I thought, well, he's jumped over 200 times out of an airplane. And you know what? I bet that every time he packs his parachute, he checks off a box that says, did I put the cord in the right place? Did I pack it properly? Is it going to inflate when the wind hits it? He doesn't think that as an onerous task. And he thinks it's a great accomplishment when he does complete that task and jumps out of the airplane and lands safely on the ground. And it made me start thinking about several things. Aspire. What do we aspire to? Aspire to means to have a goal of something that we want to do, a goal where we're going to reach it. And all the things that you say is that you have to break a goal into pieces. You have to check the boxes. And so it's really important that when we think about aspiring to something, that we really think about what am I going to do to accomplish that, and just break it down into small boxes. Michael Jordan, he became the best basketball player. And actually, I wanted to talk about Mark Eaton and not Michael Jordan. Mark Eaton, he didn't really want to be a basketball player. In high school, they didn't know how to use him because he was so big and tall. And so he didn't get to play much. He had someone from the LA college area, I don't have all the details, but came to him 15 times when he was a mechanic in a car shop, asking him to aspire to be a basketball player. But Mark Eaton didn't know how to do it. All the coaches he'd had before didn't know how to check off the right boxes, how to use his height. But when he got to that place in LA, the coach knew how to use him. And he told him, you have to do this and this and this and this and this. You have to check off these boxes. And he did, and he went on to become one of the great and beloved basketball players that we, in NBA history. He had to aspire, though, to that. He had to have a coach give him the boxes to check off, so then he could aspire to become the basketball player. But the coach had to inspire him. Inspire. Now, we can't always be best at something, but we can be inspired along the way. When we sit back and we realize that we want to do something, we gather people around us that help us to be inspired. We read books, we find out the boxes we need to check off to become part of that goal that we have. But it doesn't always have to be a big thing. That coach, he did go 15 times to Mark Eaton to get him to come. That was a tremendous effort on his part. But sometimes to inspire someone, it's just in our little group here to say, that was a great speech. I saw so many good things in that. And helps that person to be inspired in his and her aspiration to become a better speaker. In our lives, simply sending a heartfelt letter or a handwritten note to say thank you to someone for helping them. So many times we get compliments from people and we say, oh, it's nothing. We say, oh, you look really great today. You're in that. Oh, it's nothing. It's nothing. You know, oh, I picked it up at the thrift store. Oh, you know. And I want us to be able to accept those compliments that we get from people, because that can inspire us as well. And so sometimes when we look at the things that we're trying to do, we then downgrade them. Like Julio downgrades, you know, his great accomplishment. By his downgrading it, though, it makes us not be inspired to do that, because it's like, well, if he doesn't think it's anything. So our attitudes that inspire people really do have an impact on our outlook. And if we can be sure that we're creating that inspiration, that we can go on to great heights. The third thing I want to talk about today is don't perspire. Have you ever heard that saying, don't sweat the small stuff? It's all small stuff. That is so important. In my life, I have many hats to wear and many things going on. And I live in a whirlwind sometimes of work, of doing my radio show, of my children and being there for them, my family. My sister's just been diagnosed with breast cancer. And we've never had that in our family. And we're stunned. The family's in shock. And yet, we can't let that overcome us so that we don't see the good in things and don't see what we can become. You know, who cares if the grass is a little long? The weeds are a bit high, that's in my yard. Who cares if we don't have our house in total order? The most important thing is that we take care of ourselves and really be part of our current world, be in the moment, and not be so worried about the stuff that we're perspiring. We don't sleep at night. We don't eat well. We are just running around. And so when you're gone, what are people going to say about you? I hope that you will aspire to many great goals and then be inspired to follow those goals. And to be sure that you don't perspire, that you take things into your heart and just realize the bigger picture of things. That's all I have to say. Thank you.